Hello and welcome back. This is a wee short story I want to tell you. It's a true story. It's about my own family and a sort of spiritual experience that they had, which I think is very poignant and powerful. And I think we all have these stories to tell. Everyone's got stories about little strange happenings in their lives. Different family members have, so this is one of ours, and I think I find it uplifting, and it takes maybe away a little bit of the scariness of death. It's a kind of love story, and it's about shared love and a ring that found its way through the twists and turns of fate back to where it was destined to be. This story is about my grandparents, who were called Nellie and Charlie, and they were raised in the East End of Glasgow with a very tough start in life. There's a lot of poverty. I come from many generations of abject poverty. If you look to the first entrepreneur, you can learn a little bit more about my granny. She was quite a character. They met and fell in love, and the time came when they wanted to get married. Having very little money, Charlie bought Nellie a wedding ring he saw in a pawnbroker's window, but sadly when he tried it on her finger, it was just far too big. So he decided to keep that ring for himself and buy her another ring, so he had to save up again. They married and they had 2 sons and 4 daughters, and life was good to them, and they had a very long and happy marriage. But towards the end of his years, my grandfather Charlie became quite ill, and he had a long battle with cancer, and eventually it became clear that it was a battle he wouldn't win. So he went home to have a peaceful end in his own bed, which is perfect way we all would like to go, and all the family gathered about him. It was a gentle and beautiful passing, with nothing left unsaid and no one left unhugged. And he woke briefly before the end, and he said he could see, energy, 2 lights. He could see 2 lights. This was on his deathbed, and shortly after he passed over. This is going to be hard to do because somebody's about. At the moment of his death, his wedding ring, this original wedding ring, had all those years, and he'd worn it faithfully for all those happy years. It slipped off his finger and it silently fell and rolled under the bed. Now, his wife Nellie, she bent and searched for the ring, and she held it in her hand, overwhelmed with sadness. And she looked at her 3 daughters who were gathered around the bed and asked them each to try the ring to see if it fitted. Each one tried the ring on and passed it to the next, each one shaking her head and saying, "It's too big." Nellie was about to put it away when someone suggested that she try it on. The years rolled back in her mind to when Charlie first gave her the ring, and she shook her head. "It's too big for me," she said. Try it, the daughters urged her. So she reluctantly slipped the ring on her finger, and was amazed to find that it now fitted her perfectly. Over the years, her figure had filled out and her fingers were plumper than in her younger days. Her eyes filled with tears, and she smiled, knowing that this was Charlie's last gift to her. Across the world, at the exact moment when he passed, Charlie's 4th daughter woke up from a beautiful dream where she saw her father smiling down at her, and on either side of him were 2 relatives who had passed over many years before. She called home to tell the others about her strange dream and learned that her father had just passed, and everyone remembered his last words about seeing the 2 lights and felt comforted to know that in the end his family had come to help him cross over and he was safe with them now. So it was just I thought it was a beautiful story, a beautiful way to pass over, having lived a full and happy life, and to go and just, you know, the daughter that lived far away couldn't be there quickly at the end, couldn't arrange all the flights and things, and he went to her knowing how upset she would be, and showed himself to her in a dream with, it was two family members. I don't know if it was a brother or what it was, but it was two recognisable family members. I just don't recall who they were. Had come to help him cross over. So it just maybe takes a bit of the fear and worry, anxiety that people might have about relatives when they pass over, about, you know, how we pass over. I think it's always helped from the other side in a very big way. You know, even people who seem to have very painful ends, frequently they're not in their body. You know, it's just the body having a painful end. The soul has moved on. It's you know, and they just pop back now and then to speak, you know, with their loved ones before they you know, cut the ties and move on. So I just thought I thought it was a very powerful little story, little tale of the ways in which the spirit world work, and how sometimes things just come together and make sense at the end of the day. If you've got any little tales like that, stick them in the comments. That would be great. It'd be nice if we can uplift one another with these wonderful, magical, spiritual things that happen. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that, and I'll speak to you again soon. God bless.